Hello, beautiful people. I hope you all are doing so well. What I'm going to be doing in this video is talking about the full moon ceremony that I do. So I actually just did a reading for this full moon for this month. And in the reading, I said that I was going to post a full moon video that I had done previously a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, in that video, I do have music that's placed in there that I used when I was paying for a music platform to be able to use. I'm assuming you know that people do that on YouTube. They'll pay for platforms so that they can play certain music and don't get dinged on YouTube. I no longer pay for that stuff. So I can't post the video because it will be taken down anyways. So I'm just gonna do a quick overview, 5 to 10 minutes on full moon ceremony, what I do, and then yeah, so first things first, just so you know, full moon energy can be capitalized for 3 days. So the day before, the day of, and the day after. So usually for me is I utilize all 3 days, especially the day before, because the day before is usually when I go through and I just declutter and I clear and clean the energy of my space. And that includes my whole house, my workshop, my office, my shipping station, my bedroom, my kitchen, all of the things. I go through and I clean, and sometimes I'll even sage the house. It just depends. I'm a little bit iffy about doing full blown sages. Sometimes I only do it once a year. Sometimes I'll do it every quarter. It really just depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. So I'll actually do the saging the day before the full moon if I do decide to do such a thing. The day of the full moon, a part of my personal disciplines is I usually meditate in the morning. So meditation in the morning for me, the day of a full moon, is usually pretty extended. So what I do is I write 2 separate letters. I write a letter of release and a letter of intention. So I always write them on pads of paper that I can rip out of, right? And the letter of release, I always burn that night during the full moon ceremony. And then the letter of intention, I will take that letter and I will put it on my altar, and I usually read it once a week or multiple times a week. It just depends on my energy at that point in time. Honestly, it's whatever works for you. Okay. Another thing that I do the day of is clearing and cleansing my crystals or stones. Now, when I first started doing this, I had a lot of crystals and stones. So what I would do is I would actually place them in the bathtub and I would let them soak for a little while. And then I would place them outside the day of the full moon and let them just catch the rays of the full moon and the energy of the full moon as a whole that night. Now, I only have 4 crystals or stones crystals that I work with, and then I have 2 Lodi stones that I work with. So I have a male and a female Lodi stone. So what I would do instead is I actually take the moon water that I have from the previous full moon, which is in this, which I will be using tonight, and I will put my crystals in a glass jar, and I will put the full moon water from last full moon with the crystals, and I will let the crystals soak with last full moon's water and then plus catch the rays of the current full moon. And then the next day I will go and I will cleanse those out. Lodi stones are a little bit different. I'm not sure if any of you have Lodi stones or have heard of Lodi stones, but Lodi stones are magnetic, naturally magnetic stones. So I keep my Lodi stones in magnetic sand to keep them charged and to keep them fed, per se. And last full moon, I actually made a mistake. And I left my Lodi stones outside uncovered, and it ended up snowing during the full moon, which made me nervous because Lodi stones can demagnetize in water. So I had to reorder my magnetic sand and kind of take extra special care of my Lodi stones after that full moon. So this year, or this full moon, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the Lodi stones out of the sand, and I will again place those in a glass jar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my letter of intention within the same jar as my Lodi stones because they are magnetic. So not only is the letter and the stones catching the rays of the full moon, and the energy of the full moon, but because my letter's in there and the Lodi stones are so magnetic, I really just have this feeling that it's going to be super magical and really capturing the energy of what it is that I'm trying to, and the intentions that I'm putting in for this particular season or this particular time and space. So I do that. Okay. And then the day of the full moon at night, I usually always have a fire. I really love fires. And a part of the reason why I do that too is because there's a releasing energy that's happening during the full moon, right? Full moons are so perfect for releasing energy that's no longer serving you, right? And this doesn't have to be super intense, but sometimes I've had times where releasing ceremonies, and my full moon ceremonies will last like 3 hours because there's a lot that I just need to move out. So during the full moon ceremony, I love to have a fire. I will do another reading. I will do another meditation. I will do a releasing. And usually what my releasing personally looks like is I'll have one sheet of paper, or I'll have separate sheet of paper with different energies that I need to surrender. And I will say it out loud. I will pull a card on it if I'm called to, but I will basically just sit there and wait until I can feel it, the energy kind of moving through me. And then at that time, when I'm given the go ahead, because I'm channeling at the same time, when I'm given the go ahead, I will go ahead and burn that sheet of paper. And the burning of the paper is very symbolic of that energy leaving your body as well, because we hold energy, right? So that happens during the full moon ceremony. Sometimes I'll do yoga, sometimes I'll dance. It just really depends. It's in the middle of winter, so I'm not going to be outside doing yoga or dancing naked under the full moon, but I have done it before. So just this particular one, I will not be doing that. It's too cold. So yeah, that's the night of. And then with the letter of intention, I'll usually read it. I'll read it out loud, the letter of intention. And then after I read the letter of intention out loud, I'll end out the meditation itself, and then I will place everything. I have this small table, or sometimes I'll just put the stuff in the grass. It's all flexible, whatever you want to do. But I'll put my crystals, my Lodi stones, the letter of intention, and then I have different jars full of water for moon water for the upcoming month. I will place that all outside overnight. And this is actually a cool thing. If it does rain the night of your full moon ceremony, and if you do capitalize on moon water, it's really cool just to take the tops off the jars and allow that rain and the natural moon water that Mother Earth is giving you to go into your jars too. It's super cool when that happens. I really love it when it rains on the night of a full moon. So that's another tidbit. The next morning, usually what I'll do after my morning disciplines, I'll go outside and I'll clean everything up. That is when I will strain my crystals off, and I will just kind of, I either set it in the same place that it is now. Usually I do. Sometimes I'll find new homes for my crystals. It just depends. And then I always take my letter of intention and I place it in a place, like I said earlier, where I can read it once a week or multiple times a week. I just set up a full new altar. So I have an altar that has letters or words of intention, pictures that represent the season, pictures of my ancestors. I have a covenant in there as well, which is a separate letter, but that's for a longer period of time, right? So I will be placing my letter of intention directly on this altar so that I can pick it up and read it. I never seal it because, like I said, I want to be able to read it and I want to be able to reconnect when I have to see where I'm at on achieving the intentions that I have set for myself. So that's basically it. A little recap. Full moon energy can be capitalized for 3 days: day before, day of, and day after. Day before, I always use to clean and cleanse my space. Day of, I use for deep meditations, intention settings, and releasing. And then the day after I use as a cleanup and a reset. So that is basically what I do for the full moon ceremony. I just got this thing that some of you might be asking what it is exactly that I do with my moon water. So I keep water on both my altars. Oh, sorry. I keep water on my big altar that is seasonal. I keep water there, and then I also keep water on my smaller altar that's in front of my yoga mats. So that's what I do with some of them. And then some of the water, what I used to do is I used to drink moon water every single morning. I haven't done that for a few months, but that's just because that's the space that I've been in. But what I do now actually is I will use moon water to water my plants, and I put it in my spray bottles and to spray on my plants. That's what I use it for currently. But I am gonna start using it in different things that I'm concocting. Different things that I'm mixing and making in the apothecary. So we're just gonna ignore my lack of being able to use certain vocabulary words at this point in time, right? So there is a little full moon video for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Short, sweet. It's not super complicated. Do whatever you're called to do. Do whatever works for you, and just enjoy life and have fun. And I love you guys. I will see you soon. If you have any questions, give me a comment below. We could talk about it and do all of the things. If there's something that you are actually interested in, and it might be something that you think that I might do. I've been doing a lot of different things throughout many different years. Just leave a comment and I might be able to make a video on it. So, or if I can't, I know I'm very resourceful. I can send you to resourceful people who may already have a video on it for you. So there we go. Have a good one, you guys.